Most people earn enough to be ahead by now, but they are not. And deep down, they know exactly when it went wrong, the moment their paycheck hit, and 2 weeks later, it was just gone. Not because of one big mistake, but because of a gap nobody warned them about. The gap between getting paid and actually deciding what that money is for is costing you more than you think. And in the next few minutes, I'm going to show you exactly how to close it. You see the number in your account, and almost instantly, that money begins turning into relief, reward, permission. Suddenly, the pressure eases a little. You start thinking about what you can finally replace, upgrade, order, justify. And that moment matters more than most people realize. Because for a lot of people, the biggest money mistake does not happen at the checkout screen. It happens in the gap between getting paid and deciding what that paycheck is actually for. That gap is where financial drift begins. And financial drift is expensive. Think about someone like Jordan. Decent job. Pays the bills on time. Not reckless. Not buying cars they cannot afford or gambling online. Just normal. But every single month, about 10 days after payday, Jordan opens the banking app and feels that familiar dread. The number is lower than it should be. Not crisis low, just confusing low. And the honest answer, if Jordan sits with it, is that the money did not go anywhere dramatic. It dissolved. A dinner here, a subscription there, a few things that felt completely reasonable at the time. Jordan is not irresponsible. Jordan just never had a system for what happens the moment money arrives. Most people are Jordan, and most people have no idea that the fix is not about discipline, it is about sequence. It is why people with decent incomes still feel trapped. It is why raises disappear so quickly. It is why payday feels good for about 48 hours and stressful again by next week. Here is the uncomfortable truth. Most people do not lose control of their money through one huge, reckless decision. They lose control through small, emotionally reasonable ones. A delivery order because the day was exhausting. A tiny subscription no one remembers. A convenience purchase because it saves time. A little lifestyle inflation disguised as adulthood. None of it feels dramatic. That is exactly why it works. Because financial chaos usually does not look chaotic while you are inside it. It looks normal. It looks like life. And then one day you check your account and think, how is this already gone? That question shows up in every income bracket, because the issue is not always how much money comes in. Very often, the issue is what happens first when it arrives. That is the real topic here. Not extreme frugality, not guilt, not pretending every financial problem can be solved by cutting one small pleasure out of your life. This is about building a payday routine so your money gets directed before your emotions start assigning it jobs. Because if you do not decide quickly where the paycheck goes, something else will decide for you. Habit decides, fatigue decides, convenience decides, impulse decides. And when that keeps happening, more income alone does not solve the problem. It just gives the problem a bigger budget. So let's flip the question. Instead of asking, why does my money disappear, ask this. What does my paycheck do first? That one question changes everything. Because the people who build real financial stability are not always the people making the most. They are usually the people who reduce uncertainty faster. They know what gets covered first. They know what gets moved automatically. They know what does not get to compete with long-term priorities. In other words, they stop treating payday like a reward event and start treating it like an allocation event. That sounds boring. It also happens to be how progress starts. If you want more breakdowns like this that make money feel clearer instead of louder, subscribe to Mind Over Money and hit the like button right now. It takes 2 seconds, and it is genuinely the best way to tell me this content is worth making more of.
Quick disclaimer, this content is for educational purposes only. I'm sharing behavioral insights based on my research, not specific financial or legal advice. Investing involves risk, and your decisions remain your own responsibility.
Because most financial stress is not caused by complexity. It is caused by a lack of sequence. Here is the paradox. A paycheck can create relief without creating progress. That is why people can feel temporarily better every time they get paid while staying in the exact same financial position year after year. The money arrives, the pressure drops, spending begins, the future gets whatever is left. Usually, nothing meaningful is left. That is the cycle. And once you see it clearly, the first step becomes obvious. Before you think about investing, optimizing, or doing more with your money, you need to know what your life actually costs to maintain. Not approximately, not emotionally. Actually, because one of the biggest reasons people stay stuck is that they confuse essentials with familiar habits, and those are not the same thing. Housing is essential. Basic groceries are essential. Utilities, transportation, insurance, minimum debt payments, core health costs, essential. Everything else needs to earn its place. Not because enjoyment is bad, because if everything becomes a necessity, then nothing can be challenged. And when nothing can be challenged, your paycheck arrives already overwhelmed. Let's make that practical. Say someone takes home around $5,000 a month. Rent is $1,800, groceries are $450, utilities and insurance are $400, transportation is $500. Minimum debt payments are $300. That is $3,450 already committed. Now add takeout, impulse spending, auto-renewing subscriptions, convenience purchases, weekend resets, small upgrades, and suddenly the problem is not mysterious anymore. The paycheck did not vanish, it followed a hierarchy that was never clearly defined. That is why this step matters. You need to know your true baseline. Because if your fixed life is too heavy, you need to know that. And if your lifestyle has quietly expanded into your future, you need to know that too. A fragile financial life is one where every month has to go perfectly. That is not stability. That is pressure wearing a normal outfit. And this is where people usually realize something uncomfortable. A lot of what feels non-negotiable was only normalized through repetition, not necessity. That realization is not punishment, it is leverage. Because clarity gives you options, and payday without clarity is just money entering fog. Once you know what truly has to be covered, the next move is simple. Protect stability first. That means staying current on obligations, bills, minimum debt payments, anything that protects your financial footing. This part is not exciting, but it matters more than people think. A lot of financial damage does not come from giant mistakes. It comes from friction. Late fees, missed due dates, overdrafts, penalty interest, the slow collapse that starts when disorganization gets expensive. People love talking about compound growth, fair enough, but financial disorder compounds too. One missed payment becomes a fee. A fee creates pressure, pressure creates bad decisions cost more next month. That is why one of the smartest things a paycheck can do is prevent unnecessary loss. That is real progress. Not all progress looks like gaining. Sometimes progress is simply stopping the leak. And once you stop the leak, everything else gets easier. Now we get to the part almost everyone knows matters and almost everyone postpones. The emergency fund. It is not flashy. It is not exciting. It will never feel as fun as investing. But when life stops cooperating, it becomes the difference between inconvenience and crisis. A repair, a medical cost, a broken laptop, a job interruption, an urgent family expense. Without a buffer, these events do not just cost money, they force bad decisions. That is what makes the emergency fund so important. It is not there to grow aggressively, it is there to absorb impact. A good target is still around 3 to 6 months of essential expenses. So if your true baseline is $3,400 a month, your long-term target might be roughly $10,000 to $20,000. And yes, if you are starting from zero, that sounds intimidating. But the goal is not to hit the final number instantly. The goal is to become less fragile with each paycheck. A few $100s helps. Then 1 month of essentials helps even more. Then 2. At a certain point, something shifts. You stop feeling like every inconvenience is a threat. You think more clearly. You panic less. You stop needing high-interest debt to rescue ordinary life. That peace of mind is not small. It changes behavior. And one important reminder here, your emergency fund should be boring, safe, liquid, easy to access. This is not the money you try to impress yourself with. This is the money that protects you from chaos. Once that layer is in place, you are no longer just surviving. Now your paycheck can start building. If this breakdown is helping you rethink how payday actually works, subscribe to Mind Over Money. Because the goal here is not just to make more money, it is to stop losing control of the money you already earn. And if you know someone who checks their bank account a week after payday and wonders where it all went, send them this video right now. That one share might genuinely change how they see money. Now we can talk about long-term investing. And the first priority is usually straightforward. If your employer offers a retirement plan with a match, pay attention to that first. Because that is one of the rare financial advantages that is immediate. If you contribute enough to unlock the full match, you are capturing compensation that would otherwise be left behind. Imagine a company matches up to 4% and you earn $70,000 a year. That is $2,800 in employer money available if you participate fully. That is not a side detail. That is part of your pay. And many people miss it because retirement feels far away, paperwork feels annoying, or they keep telling themselves they will start later. But later is expensive, not just because you miss contributions, because you miss time. And time matters more than most people understand. Someone who starts investing even modestly in their 20s often ends up far ahead of someone who waits 10 years and tries to catch up later with bigger amounts. That is the force of compounding. It rewards time far more than intensity. Which leads to another expensive mistake: overthinking. A lot of people delay investing because they want the perfect plan, the perfect account, the perfect fund, the perfect timing, the perfect market entry. But a simple, diversified, low-cost strategy followed consistently will usually outperform a sophisticated plan that never gets started. That is the real choice, not basic versus brilliant, started versus delayed. Once your basic investing rhythm is in place, the next piece is how you attack non-mortgage debt. And this is where psychology matters. Yes, paying off the highest interest balance first is mathematically efficient, but personal finance is lived emotionally, not just mathematically. For some people, eliminating the smallest balance first creates momentum. It gives them proof, it keeps them engaged, and if that keeps you going, that matters. The best debt strategy is not the one that sounds smartest. It is the one you will actually finish. So choose your method. Stick with it. Do not bounce around every month, because consistency beats cleverness here too. And when a debt payment disappears, do something most people fail to do. Redirect it immediately. Do not let that freed up money dissolve into lifestyle. That is one of the quietest mistakes in personal finance. A payment ends, life feels looser, spending expands, the opportunity disappears. Instead, turn that old payment into a new instruction: savings, investing, future goals. That is how debt payoff becomes momentum instead of just relief. This is the bigger theme underneath everything. The goal is not to build a money system that works when you feel motivated. The goal is to build one that works when you do not. Because motivation is unreliable, systems are not. This is where everything comes together: automation. Without automation, every payday becomes another emotional negotiation. You tell yourself you will move money tomorrow. You tell yourself you will invest next week. You tell yourself you will fix the system later. But delayed decisions often become default decisions. And default decisions usually favor the present over the future. That is why a strong payday routine should move quickly. The paycheck arrives, then the system does its job. Core obligations are covered, minimums are paid, emergency savings gets funded if it still needs building, retirement contributions happen, extra debt payments go where they are supposed to go, long-term investing gets its share, and only after that, the rest is truly available. That changes the emotional experience of spending, because when your priorities were already handled, what remains is clean. You can spend it with less guilt, less anxiety, less mental negotiation. That is the hidden benefit of structure. It does not just improve your balance sheet, it reduces noise in your head. If that line just hit you, if you have been carrying that noise without realizing it had a name, drop the word system in the comments, because that is really what we are building here. And the practical version of this is simple. Do not leave your paycheck sitting around for days with no instructions. Shorten the gap between income arriving and money being assigned. The less exposure your paycheck has to impulse, fatigue, and lifestyle creep, the more of it survives long enough to matter. Then update the system whenever life changes. Get a raise? Increase future directed transfers before your lifestyle expands to absorb them. Pay off a loan? Redirect that payment immediately. Costs rise? Adjust consciously. A neglected system becomes inaccurate. An inaccurate system becomes useless. So yes, automate, but maintain what you automate. When you step back, this is not really just a money routine, it is a way of changing what payday means. For a lot of people, payday means temporary relief, a moment to breathe, a chance to enjoy, a short break from pressure. And there is nothing wrong with wanting that. But if that is all payday ever becomes, the cycle never changes. The stronger interpretation is this: payday is not permission. It is a checkpoint, a moment where your priorities get revealed in real time, a moment where your future either gets funded or pushed back again. And the people who get ahead are not always the people with perfect incomes, perfect timing, or perfect discipline. They are the people who stop letting each paycheck arrive into chaos. They create order. They reduce friction. They automate what matters. They stop relying on mood as a financial strategy. That is why a paycheck alone does not build wealth. A process does. Income matters, of course, But without a repeatable process, money tends to flow toward whatever feels urgent, easy, or emotionally satisfying in the moment. With a process, money starts moving towards stability, then momentum, then freedom. That is the whole progression. Not hype, not shortcuts, not one big move. Just repeated, directed action every time you get paid. If you want more calm, practical finance breakdowns like this, subscribe to Mind Over Money. And if this changed how you think about payday, comment the word system, because that is really the difference between feeling behind and finally moving forward. The next time your paycheck hits, do not just ask how much came in. Ask what it is going to do first. That question can change everything.